Hello and welcome to another Revit and Twinmotion tutorial, and in this video I'm going to show you how to import 3 Revit models into Twinmotion. And currently I'm here in Revit and I have 3 models open in my Revit folder. I currently opened them in 3D, so in case you're going to follow along with the video, you should open all the models in 3D and be in your 3D view. So what I essentially want to do is to actually export these models separately into an FBX file and then import that FBX file into Twinmotion. So first of all, I'm going to hide the views, the levels in my Revit for all the 3 models. I'm going to go on to hide this feature so you don't actually have to see this, because the method that we're using is going to import these files as raw files, so it may go on to capture the levels and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to select all the levels and then go into the eyeglass here, temporarily hide this element. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this element. So all we have now is the Revit model itself without anything assigned to it. So we're going to do that to all the other 2 models as well. So you can see here that I've gone on to hide the levels in this other model that I'm working with. So the levels is not actually appearing here, and then the second 3D model we have, there is no levels as well. So I've gone on to hide it, and then you notice that we are in the temporarily hide and isolate view of these 3 models. So the next thing that you want to do is to go ahead to click File and then go over to Export. We need to export these files as an FBX file, because that's what Twinmotion actually recognizes if you're importing a 3D model from Revit, and except you're using the Datasmith direct import, which is like a synchronization import, but that's not the method we're using today. So go into the FBX file, go on to select FBX. So once it pops up for you to save, and I'm going to save it to desktop so it can be easy for me to find, I'm going to leave the name as it is, but I'm going to change the file type to give me FBX files and not FBX 2015. There is no difference between the two. I've actually used both of them and sometimes I forget to change it to the normal FBX. So you can use either one, but I'm going to use FBX, just normal FBX file. Go ahead to leave the name the same way and then go on to click save. You're going to get a pop-up that tells you, do you want to turn off the temporary isolate? This is important, so you need to leave the temporarily hide and isolate mode on while you're exporting this file, so you don't get to see those levels that we're trying to avoid in the first place. So go on to click leave the temporarily hide on. While that is exported, I'm going to do the same thing for this other building. I've done it for the second one as well, but let's just go ahead and try and get it as quickly out there as possible. FBX file, just go in here, click FBX. You can see the name. I'm going to leave it on desktop as well. Okay, just for clarity's sake, I'm going to allow this one to be FBX 2015 to try and show you that it doesn't really make much difference anyway. So go on to save it as 2015 and then I'm going to hit save since we're already in desktop. Remember to leave the temporarily hide and isolate mode on during export and then click export. Once we have our 3D models exported, we're now in Twinmotion 2023. So I'm going to hit new scene and just create a new project. And this is the Twinmotion, empty scene, and currently I'm going to remove the generic models, and we have a starting base, and yeah, everything in the starting base I'm just going to hit delete, and we just have our ground selected now and just the empty horizon in Twinmotion. So what I'm going to do is to go on to hit import. It's down here below in case you don't find it. If I'm using a different version of Twinmotion, it's going to be somewhere on the left hand side, so you can go on to hit import. I'm going to click the plus button and under geometry, and we cannot use the direct link to actually import this because we're importing more than one model. Until I figure out how to do it with direct link, I'm going to show you how to use the geometry. So go on to geometry and then click open. Now we're going to go to where we saved our files, our desktop files, and then go on to select those 3 models that we have. And on my desktop, yeah, I do have 3 models. So 2023 September, Lucani model, and the October model. So those are the 3 models that we exported, and let's go on to hit open. And we're going to have those 3 models. You can see here 3 files selected. I'm going to collapse it by material and then allow the full UV precisions. Every other thing I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. So I'm going to go on to hit import now. So just go on and click import. It's going to read the file and then process the data. And now we're going to hit we'll be hit with another proxy conflict, material conflict. So I'm going to use the scene material instead of any other imported material. So I'm going to go on to click OK and apply everything to all just the way it is, and then go on to click process data, and then we are in. So now the models have been imported, and you would notice something pretty unique, that there is a clash between the models. So the good thing about Twinmotion is that whichever model you import into Twinmotion, it goes onto folder, it goes on to pack the model in a folder like this. So October model has a folder, Lucani has a folder, and then September has a folder. So you can go on to drop down and click the drop down, then you can see all the materials and all the blocks in the model. So I'm going to just close the the drop down, and then we're going to have to select the models one by one. The good thing about this folder is that it allows you pick everything in the model at once without having to select them manually one by one. So I'm going to hold on to the October model, but first of all, let's just get a view of what everything looks like, right? So I'm going to zoom out a little bit with my mouse wheel and then use the the letter Q button to zoom out a little bit or go up and then get a clear view of what we're looking at. So you can see that all the models are kind of combined into one building, and that's not what we're looking for. So I'm going to use my mouse to hold on to the October model. Just going to click onto it, and then you can see the gizmo in your screen, one arrow going up, the other arrow going to your left, and the other green one coming to the right hand side. So I'm just going to hold on to the green button here and then slide it away from one of the buildings, and then you can see that it separates one building from the other. This is the way you can move it manually without having to select everything hand by hand in a very tedious process of selecting. So just go on to, you can also move it like this easily and just shift it away from everybody else. That's for the October model. Now you can also rotate it using this bar like this, so you can move the building anyhow you want. I think I'm going to like it to stay like this, so I can move it like this and then shift it a little bit to the right hand side. So the next is the Lucani model, and the Lucani model I think is the smallest of the three. I'm not sure. I'm going to move the Lucani model to be slightly beside this October up building. So I'm going to just drag this building away from the model and into the grass space near the October model. So I can also rotate the Lucani model to face the right way I want it to be. And yeah, so we have our second model now. Okay, for some reason I think I'm going to make it look like this. Okay, I think I like this better too. So we can have the Lucani model sit perfectly here. And then the last model that we have is the 2023 September model. You notice that there is a kind of clash. If I go closer to this model, I'm using the W key now to go closer to the model. You can see that the model is somehow inside the ground. Part of it is inside the ground, and we have to move that up. So using the gizmo, we have it selected. You can just slide the arrow up on this gizmo and then kind of bring out the rest of the model that we have. So go on to select the, September model, pick it as a whole, then just hold on to the arrow and then slide it out a little bit, and then yeah, we have our building out completely the way it should be now. So we can move the September model the way we want it to be placed, and somewhere here is good, but I also want to join the roads together, so it's going to look like the road leading away from the September house is going to be leading us to the October house for some reason. So we're going to just combine these roads here. That looks good, so I can go closer now and then try to join those roads together. Still having the gizmo selected in September, we can slide this building to the left like this and then somehow combine the two, and yeah, so we have something that we can work with there. For accuracy reason, I'm going to actually slide this down a little bit. Oh, too much. Okay, just have it somewhere here, and yeah, that looks like something I can work with. So now we have three models in one. I can move away from the model now and get a good vantage point as to what I'm working with. So I'm using the Q, W, A, S, D, F buttons to go left and right and backwards and forward like I'm playing a video game. That's kind of how Twinmotion works with those buttons. And considering where the Lucani building is somehow hidden from everybody else, I'm going to reconsider the position of this Lucani building. So let me try and rotate it a little bit. Okay, I don't like that. And we'll just have to move it. Ctrl Z. You can use Ctrl Z to undo any move you just made. So I'm going to have to move the Lucani model slightly closer to the other ones. I'm looking for a way to do that without clashing with everybody else. So this is generally how you can go about importing three models into Twinmotion, and then the rest of it is up to you as to where you want to align your buildings and how you want to align them. And it also helps that when you're modeling, you kind of create more than, when you're creating all three models, you kind of model them in mind that another building is going to be here, another building is going to be here. So when you import them to Twinmotion, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to actually align those buildings when you import the three models into Twinmotion. So if you did find this video useful, do let me know in the comment section. If you have additional questions about this method that I just showed you, do let me know in the comment section as well. And if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button. I'm also going to continue sharing Revit tutorials and Twinmotion tutorials like this on the channel. So see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.